On the summit of Olympus, the mist parts like a torn veil. Amid lightning and wind, Ares is born as an oath of fire, his coal-bright eyes opening to the newborn world. Hera holds the child in her arms, pride and worry braided together. Zeus stands silent beneath the storm clouds, sensing a strange destiny taking root. Ares' childhood has no gentle lullabies. Every strike and leap at the training ground molds him, fierce, direct, taut as a drawn bow. Athena watches from afar, seeing in Ares a raw, unruly instinct that needs shaping. In her gaze, a silent conversation begins between reason and rage. On a cursed plain, their spears meet. The clash rings like thunder, marking the first collision between will and strategy. Amid steel and smoke, Ares first beholds Aphrodite, an unexpected tenderness in the heart of battle, an emotion that both weakens and deepens him. A forbidden love blooms in a grove of ashes. When Hephaestus uncovers it, humiliation drives Ares from the gods' halls and down to the mortal world. Leaving the palace, Ares takes Phobos and Deimos with him. He steps into a world scorched by war and sees the consequences of his own making. On the road, he passes ruined villages, hears cries, and sees orphaned children. What he witnesses sinks into him like a cold spear. Ares does not merely sow chaos. He tests commanders and teaches by example. When a fortress is about to fall, he plants his spear and calls courage back into fleeing hearts. In Hephaestus' forge, amid hammer and flame, Ares remakes himself. Shame and wounds temper into discipline, and he learns to harness his rage. Ares teaches Phobos and Deimos that fear can be shaped into a controlled weapon. Their battle calls herald a new age, but also test their conscience. Rumors of Ares' return spread like wildfire. Rulers come to test him, and he answers not with sermons, but with hard lessons. When a border city is on the brink, Ares appears at dusk, plants his spear at the gate, and those who fled find courage to stand and fight. Athena returns with strategists. Ares uses force, Athena uses cunning, and through their clashes they learn that both are necessary for victory. Hephaestus, still bitter, forges celestial chains to bind Ares. Ares shreds them, but a fragment remains lodged, an unerasable reminder. Aphrodite slips through smoke to touch Ares' wound. In that brief softness, the warrior remembers that love endures even amid ruin, and that it wounds. Ares gathers the defeated and forges them into a new host. Phobos and Deimos spread dread, but under their father's hand, fear becomes order. At dawn, Ares leads a counterattack. Drums thunder, red standards rise, and those once broken take up arms for a fragile hope. Victory comes with bitterness. Ares stands amid the ashes, watching survivors dress wounds, realizing every Troy carries a heavy price. Kings and warlords come seeking counsel. Ares listens, then teaches by testing armor and character, revealing courage through action, not words. Athena, disguised among common folk, probes commanders' hearts. When Ares breaks a formation, she sees the cruelty that must be tempered by wisdom. A plague of war fever ravages the camps. Ares walks into the infirmary, lays hands on burning brows, and lends a steady crimson light so soldiers can endure another day. When greedy men bring offerings, Ares judges a corrupt warlord. With a single spear, he pins the villain's standard to the earth, a verdict spoken without words. In council halls, Athena confronts Ares. They spar with blades and arguments. Their debate becomes instruction for leaders on when to strike and when to spare. A covert assassination plot is uncovered. Ares senses the blade in the dark, turns, and impales the assassin's banner as a warning to those who crave power. In ruined temples, Ares and Aphrodite meet again. Amid dust and fallen petals, silent gestures pass between them. Love and ruin braided into one. Hephaestus confronts Ares amid smoke and embers. Through hammer and flame, From envy comes a new weapon that bears both grudge and respect. An oracle reveals visions of future wars and a possible fall. Ares listens, eyes hard, but his resolve does not waver. Prophecy is seen, not escaped. Ares tests Phobos and Deimos with brutal drills. He teaches them that power and fear demand responsibility, and that choices made in darkness will shape them. A fragile truce with Athena is formed. They stand back to back on a cliff, agreeing, without fanfare, that instinct and intellect, joined, are stronger than either alone. When an enemy horde pours through the mountain pass, Ares smashes the front lines while Athena seals the rear. Instinct and strategy entwine to hold the day. Night falls and Ares lights votives at the graves of the fallen. He speaks no prayers, but the small flames are his promise that their deaths will not be forgotten. A poor child offers Ares a broken sword. He touches the blade as if accepting a fragile trust, then returns it with a nod, weighted like a vow. In the ruined temple of peace, memories echo. Ares stands still, feeling the burden what his wrath has cost others. Hermes brings tidings of betrayal. Ares listens, turns toward the storm, and walks into the gale. Some wrongs must be settled by force of arms. The duel with the traitor rings like thunder. Ares bleeds but stands tall. Victory deepens his weariness rather than exhilaration. Zeus summons Ares to Olympus. Before the council of gods, Ares speaks of war's cost, and for a rare moment thunder falls silent to hear him. Aphrodite pleads Ares' case among the gods. Her voice trembles but holds, and in that defense, a rare softness stirs within the warrior. One night in Olympus' garden, Ares walks alone. A vine blooms beneath his touch, a fragile sign that change can bud even in a warrior's hand. Disguised as a mortal, Ares walks among soldiers and villagers. He listens to their fears and leaves behind a keen blade as a timely reminder. A resolute queen seeks his aid. Ares tests her resolve in battle, and when she proves worthy, he gives her a standard of protection instead of spoils. On the field, Ares lifts a fallen young warrior and lays him on a pyre of shattered shields, so the living may see that sacrifice will be honored. Ares descends to the underworld. Hades inclines his head as the souls of warriors rise to salute the one who led them to battle. He touches a sword of the past, and the battlefield reanimates. Ares watches glory and tragedy replay, and the full cost of war is shown to him again. At a crossroads, he meets Nemesis. They trade blows with no malice, but with respect, parting with wounds that mark the balance between justice and wrath. When mortals celebrate a fragile peace, Hermes stands outside the circle of fire. He watches their joy, but knows his place lies beyond such comforts. Back in the halls, Ares lays his spear down. The corridors still echo with old battles, and he understands that some wars end only when the sword is sheathed. In fields where poppies spring from blood, Ares kneels and presses his palm to the earth, a silent act of mourning and remembrance. Before a bronze mirror, Ares sees every war he has fought. A single tear falls, not of weakness, but of weary understanding. A library of knowledge burns. Ares watches books turn to ash and feels the loss of wisdom as a wound of its own. Under the moon, he trains a young champion. Each strike teaches endurance and honor, and the pupil rises stronger under the god's stern hand. On a deserted battlefield, Ares kneels among bones and swears that those deaths will not be in vain, a vow heavier than any armor. A chaotic titan rises from the deep. Ares confronts it as the bulwark between the world and oblivion, and the clash rends earth and sky. Wounded, Ares retreats to a cave of echoes. There, memories return, and he allows himself time to heal and to reckon with what he has done. In a dream, he sees golden fields where no swords ring. He wakes resolved not to abolish war, but to make it serve a higher good. In Hephaestus' forge, Ares helps craft a new weapon. Born of fire and remorse, it becomes a symbol of punishment and protection alike. At dawn on a cliff, Ares raises the new weapon to the sky. Crimson light meets the rising sun in a pledge between shadow and day. He blesses a child born amid war. Red and gold light envelop the infant, a promise that future strength may be tempered by compassion. A temple is built not to glorify war, but to teach responsible strength. People come to learn to defend and to rebuild, not to revel in bloodshed. Athena and Ares meet beneath the olive trees. No heated words pass, only the quiet nod of two forces that have learned to work together. Ares gathers torn standards from the valley and ties them to his spear, a small act that keeps memory alive and honors the fallen. Villagers paint a mural portraying Ares as a guardian. When he sees himself reflected in their art, a small softening enters his chest. He returns to the battlefield one last time. No enemies remain, only the wind through grass, and he sets his spear into the ground and walks away. By the fireside with Phobos and Deimos, Ares speaks of legacy, not of trophies, but of teaching that strength must be guided by duty. Children of the rebuilt village run and play. A child offers Ares a flower, and in that simple gift he senses hope taking root. Under a canopy of stars, Ares sits in quiet. His spear rests at his side, and the wolves sleep. For the first time in years, he allows his soul to rest. Hera meets Ares among the trees. She lays a hand on his shoulder, not to chastise, but to comfort. And in that touch, some wounds ease. Ares walks through Olympus one last time. The gods incline their heads or remain silent, and he recognizes that his role has become more complex than before. When Ares departs, his figure dissolves into the mist. The spear remains as testimony to a journey altered, and the lessons that linger. A statue rises in a tranquil wood. People no longer only speak of Ares' roar, but whisper of the courage he taught. Stories of Ares spread through generations. Storytellers call him a test of courage, a figure both ruthless and capable of instruction. Around hearth fires, Ares becomes the sword of justice, ruthless to the wicked, protector to the righteous. The tale closes on a still image, Ares' statue amid trees, spear raised, stone eyes carved with sorrow and strength, a reminder that every war carries a cost. His name is invoked in new festivals. People no longer beg for war, but ask for the strength to keep peace and protect their families.